And we wouldn't say saints like St. Catherine of Siena or St. Joan of Arc, who both wanted to just stay at home, but God called them out. God called St. Catherine of Siena out to help the poor and out to be involved in politics and tell the Pope to go back to Rome. And and St. Joan of Arc, who led the army of France in battle, right? We wouldn't say...
Men.
Yeah, all men, right? We wouldn't say they're less of a woman. Hey everyone, welcome to Catholic Girl Talk. Today I have my confirmation sponsor, Betsy Hoyt, and we are starting a new series today on authentic femininity. So this first video is on becoming the woman you were created to be. And we're talking a lot about how you don't have to be a girly girl to become the woman you're created to be. So let's just dive right in. When we're talking about authentic femininity, we are really talking about something that is rare, because in our culture there's so much confusion on what it means to actually be feminine, what it means to be a woman. And we talk about the word authentic comes from the Greek compound word. And a priest told me this, I'm not that smart. He says, authentic means self-doing, achieving, or self-accomplished. We were born female, okay? But becoming a woman is something we have to work towards and work on. And that's what we're called to do in our lifetime, becoming authentic women of God, right? And instead of the more original feminist desire of I'm going to make my own self, I'm going to be who I want to be, we are taking what God has given us and we are working to create something beautiful, right, with His grace, a beautiful woman of God. And so this big question that we struggle with as women, especially young women, is, so I don't like braiding my hair, don't like getting my hair dyed, I don't like wearing jewelry, I don't like wearing flowy pink things. And so, does that make me less of a woman? The answer is no. And
no, it's definitely not. Yeah, I think that, Olivia, you bring up a lot of really good points. And, this being a woman, then the acts follow that being. But that femininity piece doesn't really kind of present itself until we believe in that we were created as a woman, and that, well, first of all, our identity lies in Christ, regardless, no matter what the world thinks. If I wear jewelry or not, I'm still a daughter of the King, and my identity lies in Him. However, when I am at that place in my life where I'm not sure what does it really mean to be feminine, I know I'm a woman, so does that automatically make me feminine? Well, kind of, but no. I think that we need to understand what femininity really is. It's not feminism, it's femininity. And so it is something that you are, not necessarily an action, not an action. But we can show our femininity through action. Our femininity really comes about from the people we're with, the choices that we make, like in clothing, in what we read, movies we see, what we do with our bodies as far as what kind of sports that we play and the things that we do. Yeah, a lot of really great women soccer players, tennis players, gymnasts, cyclists, who are all authentically feminine women because they understand who they are as women, that they're not trying to be something they're not.
Right.
And nowadays, feminism is coming from that. It's coming from, I want to make myself into this thing that the world expects me to be. Instead of owning that womanhood and that femininity that you were given by God and given as a gift so that you could then return whatever it is you're going to become back to Him as a gift, right? And as a sacrificial gift. I hope that makes sense. But this becoming the woman you were created to be, we first have to have that relationship with Christ.
So if you then consider yourself more of someone who plays sports or who is not a girly girl, it does not mean you cannot be feminine. It's a reality of who you are. such as I love to braid hair or I'm a girly girl. That is not the essential of femininity.
It's not a definition. Yeah, it's not like in the definition of femininity, you know. I think we were talking earlier, and it's like a woman who really wants to show her femininity, she tells the truth. She takes care of herself in mind, body, and soul. Mm-hmm. She participates in and is active in ordered relationships. Yes. Relationships that are ordered toward holiness. That's what I mean when I say ordered, is that when we're in ordered relationships, whether they're with a young man, of course with our Lord is our first relationship, or with our husbands, with our siblings, with our friends, are those relationships ordered to of you being a better version of yourself, your real, authentic, feminine self, then those are the things we should be engaging in. If riding a mountain bike for me, with my husband, I feel amazingly feminine and a powerful feminine woman. I feel very strong. It's like, what do we say? Strong is the new pretty, you know, is that I feel strong. I feel capable, and I'm overcoming some fears, you know, and I'm trusting. I'm trusting the abilities that God has given me to get that bike either up that hill or down that amazing downhill single track trail, right? And I think that when we look at things, especially for women, let's talk a little bit about like the sports and the girls that aren't necessarily the girly girls. So Olivia and I've known her for a very long time. And I would say I'm a little shocked that that she would pick someone like me as a confirmation sponsor, because I'm definitely not the girly girl.
And
never have been. I'll be a little transparent and say I looked like a tomboy and until I was in college. So that was when, you know, thanks be to God, I got my anatomical shape. But needless to say, I had a lot of friends that were boys growing up, right?
Yeah.
But one thing that my mom always reminds me of is that even though I had all these boys as friends and I hung out and ran around with all these boys, I had a couple really close girlfriends. One that I still have, that I've had since the second grade. And out of these two girlfriends, close girlfriends I had, and then the boys, my mom said, I always used to call you Counselor Betsy to all my friends, because whenever I came upon you and your friends, they were always talking to you and you were always listening. Wow. And that screams femininity, that we can be receiving and receptive to those people who are around us when they need something, when they are desiring that genuine relationship, that authentic relationship. So many times as a girl who wasn't necessarily a girly girl, that was my experience. And then once I got into college and my my relationship with the Lord really solidified even more in college, I started dating my husband. And when my husband and I started dating, he showed me really what beauty was, because he was protecting me. And he was protecting that beauty and protecting my purity and protecting my faith, you know, by calling me to don't miss Mass on Sunday, you know, to let's go do and help at the youth ministry, you know, event or these things. And then he would compliment me, you know, on things and say like, wow, that top really makes your smile brighter, instead of, you know, wow, you look really hot in that. I mean, you know, that's not authentic. That is very debasing and very surface. You know, it really can be. It can be. But for me, it wasn't that way. Thanks be to God. And so he really taught me what beauty was. And that created a desire in me to wear things that weren't as dowdy or boyish. And, you know, as the Lord would have it, because he has such a great sense of humor, I have sons. I don't have daughters. So with that, my husband, because of the way he protects my beauty, my purity and all this, he has really been able to be an example of that to our sons. That respectful of the woman, respectful of her femininity, and respectful of her authentic self. And what does that mean? And that beauty. And in relationship to God. And keeping those relationships, of course, ordered as well.
Right, so just because we might consider ourselves under a label, I don't like all these labels on womanhood, right? Just because of that, it doesn't mean we can't like show our femininity. You like you said, you were meeting your boyfriend who's now your husband, you felt drawn to look a little nicer and things like that, and that's okay, right? Mm-hmm. You can go and have fun and play a sport, but you can also dress nicely, and there's nothing wrong with having both of those things. Like, you don't have to be one certain type of person. You have to be the woman you are called to be. And we wouldn't say saints like St. Catherine of Siena or St. Joan of Arc, who both wanted to just stay at home, but God called them out. God called St. Catherine of Siena out to help the poor and out to be involved in politics and tell the Pope to go back to Rome. And and St. Joan of Arc, who led the army of France in battle, right? We wouldn't say...
Men.
Yeah, all men, right? We wouldn't say they're less of a woman just because
or that they were even trying to compete with men either.
Yeah.
No,
right.
They were doing what they were called to do because their feminine heart could do that.
Yes.
Because God needed that.
Yes. And so we see they said yes to God, and that was the heart of femininity, of saying, as Mary said, let it be done, those women said, let it be done. And Blessed Chiara Luce Badano, when she was sick, she died at 18 of cancer, and she loved to play tennis, and when God called her to be sick in bed, she said, for you, Jesus. And so we see that heart of authentic femininity in all these women.
I think that's the key, is that and that's kind of full circle, is that those external things flow from that first relationship, first relationship and that first identity. And that first identity is you as a daughter of God, made in his likeness and uniquely feminine, uniquely woman.
So, thank you for being on Catholic Girl Talk.
My pleasure.
Join us, because next week is the second part of our series where we will be talking about the receptivity of women. And
fun times.
Follow me on Instagram at Catholic Girl Talk for daily inspiration. And as always, have a beautiful day and God bless.
Thank you.
All right.
Do we want to pray?
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. It might be really hard to read. I don't like doing this.
You just have to get into it. You just gotta let it go. Your hair looks really nice.
Thank you.
Then is brought about by, it's 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock.
What is that?
It's Divine Mercy. Okay, composure. Okay. Oh, so great.
Yeah.
I love being a woman. Thanks, Olivia.
Yay, thank you.